Hello everyone, welcome to episode 37 of Last Minute FPL. This is the Gameweek 37 podcast. Hi Vikas, how are you?
Good. Very exciting. Coming towards the end. Let's get in. Let's get right in. I
Yeah,
think we have some really fun few teams to showcase to start the podcast with.
cool. Yeah, let's jump in. We'll start with the AI team. 71 points.
Up
Incredible.
to 5K
Yeah.
rank. That is crazy.
Yeah, I
How
think,
far is it away from top 1K?
no, 1K is too far. It was, if you remember, about 15 weeks ago, it was around 2K, which was, I don't think it's going to hit those heights, but great week. Eze, 16 points, Munoz, 11, Livramento, Martinez, Mbumo, quite a few returns. And it got Pep in for Glasner, which didn't work out, but it was free transfers, so I think it was good move. Should finish in the top 10K and has a comfortable lead in our mini league as well.
And one more game week of assistant manager chip, right? To
Yeah,
play.
yeah, and I think that's probably going to be the transfer it will be making. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, what an insane week. Eze again coming in clutch. This happened like multiple times this season for the AI team.
Yeah, last few weeks I think he's outscored Sar by some 40 points or something. So and at the wild card it went Eze over Sar, and I was hesitant because Eze was coming back from, I think he didn't play for a few games or something, but yeah, it turned out to be a inspired pick.
Mm.
Cool. Moving on to my team, I got 67 and a -4, so 63 points. Yeah, I think every decision I took this week didn't work out, but the existing players did well. So I moved I moved Glasner to Pep for a hit, and Glasner got 9 and Pep got 5 against Southampton away. Yeah, I made the mistake of thinking it's 100% win. Like, I thought there's no way. Like, Southampton's one of the worst teams in history, and now they've got the points to cross Derby, and good on them. They defended well. And the other move I made was Evan Nilsson for Marmoush. I didn't get Sharda, who scored 11 points. I spoke about him so much on the pod, but
That is unlucky. You called it, but I guess 3 Brentford was just a little bit too difficult.
no, and Marmoush was I found out that Marmoush was benched, so then it made sense to go for Evan Nilsson, who's more of a.
Did you get tempted by Haaland? I pity those who went Haaland captain. For the second time against Southampton, he's disappointed.
And I had so much. I had 4 million in the bank, so I could have got Haaland without getting rid of Salah. So I mean I saw that it was possible, but I think the projected points, it didn't add up at all, and I wasn't sure how many minutes he would play. But I thought maybe because I'm chasing, should I just do it? But it would have been a rush of blood just 10 minutes before the deadline, so I didn't want to take that chance. But yeah,
Makes sense.
very happy with the Newcastle and Palace players, and Verbruggen with a surprise clean sheet as well. I think Palace especially destroyed Spurs. Munoz could have had so many more points. He passed when he was 1-on-1. There was a 1 inch offside when Sar scored from a Munoz assist. Yeah, I think I haven't seen point dodging of that quality in the last 2 weeks that Palace players have done. But yeah, overall, Murphy getting an assist and Livramento keeping a clean sheet, I'm pretty happy with this week.
Awesome. Yeah, I called Palace completely wrong. I'm glad that you didn't take my advice, and like others also probably should not have. But I really did think Palace would rotate, and my overthinking probably can go to my team.
Yeah.
My overthinking led to me losing about 10 points with getting Milenkovic instead of Munoz. We had the discussion about Forest. I was a bit more optimistic than what I should have been. So that's pretty much cost me the place in the cup because I lost by 1 point
Damn.
in the
Yeah.
cup. So it could have been a much better week. Probably would have got me into the top million as well. Just that one move, which is an unnecessary transfer. Now thinking about it, but at that point in time, I did feel the Palace would rotate because they had nothing
Yeah.
else to play for except for the FA Cup final.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a bad move because your front seven was fixed and we didn't really have any other moves to make. And yeah, I think Leicester at home again, it's usually a banker. But Forest capitulating after getting the lead again, so that was pretty unlucky. And yeah, you're well within sights of 1 million still with 2 weeks to play. And yeah, a lot of returns for you as well. Double Man City defense and Villa clean sheet once again, helping you out.
Yeah, I mean the double Man City defense has been really really clutch, and also the Villa defense been really really useful the past few weeks. So not cribbing there. Marmoush, I wish he had started, but I don't think City attackers anyway had any joy in this game, so
He
pretty
he
okay.
he came on in the last 10 minutes and hit the crossbar. He could have like punished all the people who sold him or
That would
benched
have been
him.
extra frustrating for you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like getting the team news and then not paying off would have sucked. But yeah, I think, I mean, with City, like even if they had won, like whether it was KDB or Marmoush, like I would have lost points if they scored. So in the end, it was okay that it was 0-0. But you also got Bowen and Rogers returns. So definitely a lot of players taking over.
Yeah, I think the captaincy hurt going with Visa. Yeah, even just going Embuemo would have gotten me through to the cup again. But I don't know. I felt Visa was doing better as a forward,
Yeah.
so I just went with the Visa. But yeah, captaincy I think was the main weakness here, and the
Unlucky
stupid
though.
move going to Milenkovic.
I mean, I don't think there was much between Wissa and Embumo, and I think that was the only chance that Embumo created, the one which he got an assist. I think he was pretty lucky to get those 6 points, and yeah, I think it was a totally fair call going with Wissa. Cool. Yeah, let's look at the mini league ones. So yeah, now the AI team has a 33-point lead over Allen Evans. Conte Kante around 12 points further behind. Conte Kante brought Haaland in and captain. So
God.
that was a Hail Mary of sorts, and it didn't work out. Adarsh in fourth, incredible week. He played the bench boost and got 81 points and knocked out the AI team out of the cup. So even though AI team had 71, Adarsh with an incredible week. Luis Diaz, I think, doing really well for him. And yeah, so I think the title AI team is strong favorites. And like if you look at the percentage now, it's got an 85% chance of winning with.
And I don't know whether that even accounts for the fact that it has assistant manager, like another
Yeah.
chip.
I mean, it's like one extra player. But yeah, if like, I mean, it's going to go for someone with table bonus, like either Brighton or West Ham, depending on the odds at deadline. But yeah, that could be a pretty huge chip. And then maybe that can push it higher in the rank if that hits. But yeah, Allen Evans has 10% and Conte Kante with 4% chance.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. I mean, it's kind of insane with the theme of the year that an AI team is potentially going to win this league.
Yeah, pretty crazy because there are 41 people in this league, and yeah. And then with our teams, I think like we had set our targets as 8th and 25th. You're currently 26th, but just 3 points behind, and just 10 points ahead of you is 22nd. So very much in it. And I wanted 8th, and I'm currently tied for 8th. But it's like very tight. I'm exactly level on points with Sampath, so we'll have to see how that goes.
That'll be an exciting battle as well. There's some top 4 battles also shaping up essentially in this league table.
Yeah. Cool. Let's take a quick look at the cup. So this was the quarterfinal week. You lost by 1 point to Aaron Sarachi. I know after the Saturday games, he really needed a big performance from someone, and Eze gave that.
Yeah. I think it was like he needed about 13 points from 3 players or so. And honestly, that's just one performance away. Or I think it was 16 points from 3 players. So yeah, Eze just delivered. But I can't complain too much because I think some of this is also self-inflicted on my end. Some dumb decision making.
I mean, losing by 1 point is like a coin toss. Anything could have slightly happened here, a bonus point or a yellow card here and there, and you'd have been through. There was another 1 point game, Rishabh Ghai beating Joe Daly 35-34, low scoring game. And then a high scoring one with Adarsh beating the AI team 81-71. Yeah, three out of the 4 were very tight. The 4th semi-final as well, MJFP beating Yang Yun Cheong 49-46. So yeah, the semi-final lineup is set. No representation on the podcast, but all the best to those in the semis.
Yeah, best of luck at the tail end of the season. Very exciting to see the cup winners, and hopefully, we'll have a human cup winner and an AI league winner, and then we can do a human AI battle or joint trophy list.
Yeah. Cool. Let's look at some of the games last week. So I did catch a couple of games fully. So I saw the Newcastle Chelsea game. Newcastle were incredible, high intensity, just kept pushing Chelsea back. Scored in the second minute and didn't look back. They could have easily scored 2 or 3 in the first half. And then Jackson, with a really stupid red card, kind of killed the game because it made it very difficult for Chelsea to come back. But I have to say, Maresca is a very good manager. Like, I could tell in the second half, it was all Chelsea. Like, he basically set them up in such a way that they negotiated everything in defense, and they were actually creating decent chances. Reece James missed a really, really good chance, right, with around 15 minutes to go. And then Newcastle got a late second goal that killed it off. But I was very impressed with how Maresca got the most out of the team. And yeah, I think you have a good manager for the long term.
I think it's still, yeah, I agree. I think the season has been an improvement, but there's still a long way to go, as kind of showcased how the second half of the season. I think the team's still too inconsistent, but I agree. I think Maresca's definitely shown that he's not a bad manager, although he is quite unpopular within the Chelsea fan base.
But that's normal. No manager is ever wholeheartedly popular, maybe since Mourinho's first outing. But yeah, I mean, more than maybe, I don't know about long term, but he definitely has some good tactical knowledge.
Yeah, sure. I think the big surprise of the weekend was the Southampton Man City. Seriously, I don't think anyone expected that. Just happy for the clean sheet with 2 players representing Man City for me there. Very unlucky for those at De Bruyne and Haaland. I've been at the receiving end of this game before. What did you think? Do you think it's Man City running out of steam? Maybe some complacency with them now into the top 4?
Yeah, I mean, it was a frustrating game for them. I mean, look at De Bruyne's XGI, 1.2. Like, it's very rare that doesn't come off. It was just one of those days where Southampton were throwing bodies in the way, and they just survived the 90 minutes. And you can't blame them, right? Like, that's obviously how they're going to set up. But yeah, I think City were definitely a little overconfident. They weren't trying too hard till the last 15-20 minutes. They probably thought a goal would come from somewhere. There's no way we can't beat this Southampton team. But yeah, and towards the end there was some like crazy melees in the box which could have gone in, but they just didn't. And yeah, as a Pep owner, it was a I think the mistake I made was because of assistant manager, you feel you have to have the best option for that week, and I just couldn't live with having Glasner against Spurs. I mean, of course, like if it was a player, let's say you had an Eze against Spurs away, you won't take a hit to go for a De Bruyne. So I feel like that was a mistake on my part to treat it like something extraordinary when it wasn't a table bonus game. So I do regret that. And yeah, I mean, we can talk about that Spurs Palace game. Spurs, I think I just switched off from the season.
Yeah, I think we spoke about the whipping boys, and it's nice to see Man United and Spurs being consistent in that category now as teams to target. Can't blame them actually, because like you said, there's nothing to play for.
I mean, United played badly, but they played their team. Like they played around 6-7 first team players. Spurs had 10 backup options and Kulusevski got injured in this match and he's out for the season now. He was supposed to come back to get fitness. But yeah, look at the XG Palace created, 3.38. And they had 2 goals disallowed for marginal offsides, which were like 0.9 XG. Like one of them was basically a tap-in for Sar. So it was completely one-way traffic, and Eze was in the right place at the right time twice. Could have had a hat-trick. Very good performance. But I think this week Palace may rotate because it's after the FA Cup final, 3 days after. And I think if they win, they'll be hungover and they'll rotate. Maybe if they lose, I'm hoping they lose because I'll have Palace players still left.
But even then, I think it's possible that they could rotate. But who knows, honestly.
I mean, definitely, if they win, I think they'll either be dead or they'll rotate, like one of those two. And yeah, the United game, after going 2-0 down, United did create a lot of chances. And I don't think United will rotate as much as Spurs going into this week as well. It's 6 days before the final, I think. So I think maybe half the team will play, but yeah, still pretty much whipping boys.
Okay. Any other games of note?
Yeah, I think the Liverpool Arsenal game was a bit of an exciting one. Liverpool completely dominated the first half and then went to sleep. The second half was all Arsenal. Salah once again blanking. I don't know. I mean, now he surely has to have that fire under his belly to get the goal scoring and assist records, right?
Possibly, but also there's, I mean, like we spoke about, there's the motivation aspect. Like, there is that motivation, but is it strong enough? I mean, he seems like the type of player who will go after their individual records, and that's motivating enough. But is he going to be training every single day with that intensity, with just this as the incentive, as compared to being in the heat of a title race? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely not because I think this week Slot was holidaying somewhere, and I mean they've been booing Trent. A lot of other things are going on, and I think Slot also said something like, "I hope that we see some motivation in the next match." And he said, "I know we will see it in the last match because last match is at home. They'll lift the trophy."
Yeah.
I mean, him saying, "I hope I see motivation," doesn't give me too much. Yeah, I mean, you could see them do well, but it's unpredictable. Like they don't have a reason to go
I
up.
mean, it's possible they could also rotate heavily for the
Yeah.
Brighton game, because if you presume in the last game they want to put on a show
Yeah,
for the trophy lift and play some of their main team players, then this is the game to rotate.
makes sense to give people a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Any other game you want to talk about?
No?
Cool. Okay, let's look at this week's games. Yeah, some interesting one-sided games potentially. Unfortunately, Leicester play Ipswich and Everton play Southampton. So it's tough to target the worst teams in the league, but we do have our whipping boys to target. So Villa
I don't
plays.
like the Chelsea Man United game, because there's always turn out to be 0-0s, or it's like really like even if Chelsea have players injured, it's happened in the past, and Man United have players injured. It's just like a huge bore fest, that game, and sometimes they become thrillers, but like I don't know, I don't see it as a one-sided game.
Yeah, I think the difference though this time is it comes just a few days before a European final, which is very important.
It's 6 days though, like you said.
Yeah,
There's
no, but what I'm saying is this match is so important to United because I don't even think people care about the trophy. Like I know Spurs, it's important for them to win a Europe. For United, it's just if you don't get in the Champions League, it's like you have to face the consequences of this terrible season coming 16th. The 16th and 17th, by the way, United and Spurs, just above relegation. And Chelsea are going for Champions League. They just lost to Newcastle. They can't afford a slip up. Unfortunately, they won't have Jackson. I do think it'll be I also agree with you. I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as the odds indicate. But I do think it'll be a comfortable win for Chelsea. But the game I think is really worth targeting is Villa against Spurs.
I agree. I completely agree. I think that could really, really be a big score.
Yeah, and I think Watkins is seeing a lot of transfers in. He'll probably be the most popular captain this week amongst managers. And amongst the analytics FC, it's probably going to be Palmer if people can afford, because he's projected to score more than, like way more than even the second highest. And yeah, I can currently do Palmer for a free transfer, and or I can do a manager move to chase table bonus. So that's what I'm considering. But yeah, in terms of attack, I think City, Chelsea, and Villa are good options this week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm considering captaining Rodgers potentially. It's either Rodgers or Salah.
The
I'm tempted.
most expensive defender or the least expensive defender.
Yeah.
But that's a fun move. Rodgers, I think Villa have been playing really well, and against Bournemouth also they did really well to keep a clean sheet. And Rodgers again getting a return.
He's a very consistent player. Like,
Yeah.
I feel okay going with the captaincy of Rodgers.
In terms of defense, I don't think it's worth bringing anyone in. But yeah, against City and Villa assets, people do own them. So, and even Arsenal is rated pretty highly. I think those three, if you already own them, you play.
But it's Arsenal Newcastle, so that gives me a bit of a pause. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel confident again with Villa for sure. Um,
Yeah, I
it's not.
mean,
It's not, apart from the Villa game. I don't really feel like there's any other game that's. I mean, maybe the Liverpool Brighton, but there are again other question marks there. It's not a very inspiring set of fixtures, to be honest.
yeah, honestly, I haven't seen Liverpool with less than 2 goals projected in a long time. 1.75 against Brighton is surprising because that could be a
I think there
really.
is some other risk factors are accounting for that projection for sure.
Yeah, and I think Brighton are also currently chasing a European spot. So if
Yeah.
City win the FA Cup, Brighton will get Europa League. Like I mean, they'll be favorites, so they will have motivation to win. I think if you finish seventh or eighth, you will get
Yeah.
Europe this time. So everyone, I mean, they'll be hoping that Palace lose, and yeah, they'll definitely be up for this game. And also one thing to add, Jamie Vardy will be playing his last game for Leicester. He's not going to play game week 38. It's been announced. This will be his last game. Yeah, if you already own him, it'll be a fun game against Ipswich at home. I'm pretty sure he'll score.
Probably a captaincy candidate, right?
Yeah.
Like for Ipswich home.
Yeah, I mean, and what a career, right? Like he's someone who came in so late in his career, and he scored over 100 Premier League goals, won a title, uh, won a Golden Boot. Yeah, I think one of my
Instead of hats off to
yeah
what he's achieved essentially from where he's come for sure.
yeah one of my favorite strikers.
I think it's the journey which is so impressive, like the entire journey and career that he's had.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the best strikers, right? Like in the Premier League. For
Yeah,
sure.
he found ways to score. And I mean, like he didn't seem to be the most skilled or talented, but he had that pace and he found ways to find the back of the net, which was nice. Okay, let's look at the assistant manager projections. Now this will be like the last week that it's significant for me. So currently I have Pep and he's like sixth highest projected against Bournemouth.
You gotta go Potter, right? I think.
I mean, honestly, if I had a free transfer that I wanted to use, I would go Potter. It is 2.4 xg more. Forest haven't looked great, but also West Ham have not much to play for. The win plus draw is 63%. Hertzler is projected slightly higher, but I find it very tough
Too
to.
risky. Yeah, against Liverpool.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the thing is that I have one free transfer. I feel upgrading Savinho might be a more upside move because I don't see him playing, especially if I bring a captain in like Palmer. And I definitely don't want to take a hit for AM again. It'll be the most disastrous thing. And Pep against Bournemouth is fine. It's not the best because he has only a 63% of winning. But I don't want to simply go
makes
minus
sense.
4. But yeah, there is the temptation. Imagine like getting a plus 20 with Potter.
I think with Forest form and West Ham playing well, it's worth it. Because you can get a plus 20, which is
But
I think it'll be more than what Palmer gets with captaincy.
yeah,
Bonus.
but then the other downside there is if I don't do Savinho to Palmer, I'll have to play someone like Jacob Murphy versus Arsenal away. And I mean, he played really well against Chelsea, but it was at home. I don't see him as a great option going into 37 and 38.
Arsenal have not been very good in the league.
Yeah.
So
I agree, but it just feels like Pep against Bournemouth is not as bad as Murphy against Arsenal. Yeah, and maybe one of the two moves I'll make, but both is very unlikely.
makes sense.
Cool. And in fact, Maresca is above. I mean, I think odds are loving Chelsea this week. I do feel it's a little overrated, but
It's definitely overrated.
I mean, I'm saying that because I'm considering Palmer. Otherwise, probably I would have been like, yeah, this makes sense. I'm feeling that fear of going with the odds.
I mean, Jackson's not playing, right?
Yeah.
This game. He's not gonna play.
And Sancho's also not
Chelsea
playing.
without Jackson have not been good. Right? Like, they've not been good, so I don't see where the confidence and I think everyone's underrating United way too much.
Underrating a team that's 16th and has lost half the league games.
Yeah, but they're not Tottenham. Okay, fine. Like it's just one gap, one team difference. But I think Man United can put up a performance on their day.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't know if they will be. I mean, players will not want to get injured. Whoever, like, it's either going to be the kids playing or players who know they'll have a European final, which is a big game in a few days. So I do think Chelsea are overwhelming favorites. I just don't know how much I can expect from Palmer, because having seen that game, he's not the focal point like he was before. He's doing well. He was the one who was getting some chances, but it's not like players are looking for him, trying to find him. It's not the same. And no Sancho as well, by the way, because he's still on loan. Cool. Let's look at the fixture ticker now. Just 2 weeks to go, and yeah, Ipswich are at the top. The best.
And Everton.
Yeah.
Not the most inspiring.
I think
it's not good. It's not. 37 doesn't read pretty to me. 38 is way more interesting with Arsenal, Southampton, especially if Arsenal still have anything to play for.
Yeah.
And Bournemouth, Leicester.
Yeah.
I think
Villa.
I would just like save in 37 unless you have luxury transfers.
I think Villa have two really, really good fixtures. Spurs at home and United away. Spurs at home, I think I expect them to smash them. Like, I don't know if maybe Spurs will score, but I do feel like if you can find a way to get to Watkins and captain.
Do you think Isaac to Watkins is the move that makes sense?
Yeah, Isaac actually looked. I mean, I do think Isaac might do well in 38 playing at home, but even against Chelsea, he looked very off it. Like he was the one player who wasn't great. Like Barnes was good, Murphy was good, Gordon played, he was good, Joe Linton was good, Tonali, and Isaac was not going for the balls. He seemed a bit hesitant. So I think it's worth an upside move, because Everton at home and United away may actually be quite similar, unfortunately. Yeah, I think that if Chelsea
has something to play for, so yeah, maybe Villa's the team to target.
Yeah. I agree, and yeah, they're sixth, right? Or are they fifth? They're fifth now, or
sixth, I think still.
Yeah, I think maybe Forest is sixth, Villa's seventh, or is it City, Chelsea?
Oh yeah, Forest are sixth, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they'll at
least...
no,
Villa's sixth. They actually went ahead of Forest.
Man, what a fall for Forest. But I think, this is this is still a great season for them, even if they finish seventh. Yeah, and maybe some of these 38 games will become beach games. Like, for example, if Chelsea seal Champions League before that.
There's a whole cluster of mediocrity, man. Like, between Forest in seventh to Newcastle in third, it's like a 4-point gap.
Wow.
Anything can happen with 2 games to go.
But I think these are the only teams that have motivation now. Like third to maybe, even you can maybe count the 8th to 10th place teams if 8th also gets Europe. So
if Arsenal lose to Newcastle, it's actually a very dicey picture, because they have not. I mean, if say Chelsea win, City win against Bournemouth, Newcastle win, then Arsenal are just 2 points. They have to win the Southampton at home game, or like they're just 2 points ahead of Chelsea, who will still be in fifth.
That's pretty crazy. I feel like with Arsenal at home, they've defensively been really good at least. So I don't expect them to lose, even though Newcastle have been good.
It's extremely unlikely, because even a draw against Southampton gets them through. I think they just really need a point in the next 2 games.
Makes sense.
But I hope they lose 37. So they become an interesting team to target for 38. Otherwise, 38, I think, could be a damn squib.
Yeah, I think it's still worth targeting Arsenal in 38. It remains to be seen who'll play. We'll probably know more just before 38, but that would definitely be the game.
Arsenal losing will also make it much more fun going into the last set of fixtures to see what happens with all games being played at the same time. I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun.
True, but I feel like if Arsenal seal Champions League and go into the Southampton game, I think all breaks will be off, and Southampton are relegated. I don't think they'll care much. I feel that could be a more cricket scoreline than if they need to get some points.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to the points projections. Actually, let's do the teams first, and then we'll do the points projections. We'll start with the AI team. So yeah, I think this week it is playing double Villa defense. Interestingly, but of course it's against Spurs. So Saliba's on the bench. even though he's playing at home, which is a huge deal, right? Arsenal being benched. We typically play Arsenal even if they're playing City or Chelsea. But yeah, uh, the transfer that it'll likely be making is Guardiola to either Potter or Hertzler, depending on the EV at the time of deadline. And it is playing two Newcastle attackers against Arsenal away. So that's also an interesting choice.
It's very interesting, yeah.
And Salah captain.
Has no interest in Savinho, no respect at all. Savinho against Bournemouth at home.
Yeah, I mean, like he returned in the first game that the AI team wildcarded. Since then, it's not been good. Cool. Moving on to my team. Yeah, I think this week, currently I have captaincy on Embumo and I'm starting Savinho. So my two options, like I discussed, are Pep to Potter. I don't think I'll do Hertzler, or Savinho to Palmer and Palmer captain. I know I'm not. I know it is a bit of a risk, but I feel like I feel. I mean, I've been trusting the models till now, and I do feel, especially last week. I made, like, I benched. I played Livramento, and I wasn't sure about it, but then I looked at the projection. I was like, oh, actually, Livramento seems like a good option, which I didn't realize. Uh, and I think the Palace players also being projected high. So I do feel tempted to trust it. It's a differential, and I think everyone's gonna have different captains this week. So I wish I had a Villa attacker, but in the absence of it, I'm okay with betting against Embumo and Salah with Palmer.
That will be very exciting. Are you kind of almost set on doing this, or
No, because I am tempted by the assistant manager. So, for example, I mean, there is a chance that Savinho starts because when he came on, he played well. But we won't get any leaks because tomorrow's a Friday deadline and City don't play till much later. But yeah, I do hope that. Yeah, I mean, I am tempted because of that 20-point upside, and I do want to go for it. But let's see which. I'll think about it some more.
are you considering maybe ditching Sar and going for like a Murphy?
I mean, because it's Wolves at home and Arsenal away, not really. I'm hoping that Sar at least gets 60 minutes. Yeah, I mean, Palace have looked good. Wolves also have been decent, but I don't think. I still think even with reduced minutes, Sar is. And if he doesn't play at all, then anyway.
Okay.
No, actually, Kivior will come on. I'll have to think about it. I didn't think about that at all. Yeah, maybe maybe it's okay that Kivior comes on. I do feel like Newcastle will find it tough to score.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, moving on to your team.
Yeah, I'm benching Rhea as well, Favour Martinez. I think the biggest decision, two big decisions, or maybe three, is Saliba or Milenkovic. As when I'm playing Saliba because Forest, I don't know, my trust in Forest has been shaken, to put it that way. Then it's between Marmoush and Murphy. So I don't know whether Marmoush is going to start or should just go with the certainty of Murphy. And captaincy wise, it's on Salah at the moment. I'm very happy the AI team is going with Salah as well. That's definitely tilting my favoritism towards Salah, but I'm also very tempted to go with Rodgers as we spoke before. And talking with you today, I'm also now tempted by making a transfer of Isaac to Watkins and captaining Watkins. But that seriously, I think, hampers me going into the last week, especially to target Arsenal or someone. So and given I have Rodgers and Martinez, two Aston Villa players already, I feel like that's not a move I have to make.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think, yeah, you have to weigh up your 37 and 38 moves and take a call, because I think a lot of people will be going Watkins, so if maybe it's okay to bet against them if you want to.
Yeah.
But I really like this team. I think, again, the front seven is really good. Isak is, of course, still an elite asset. He's the only one with a tricky fixture. I think Marmoush will start this. Pep made some comments after the game saying that after he came on, we played well. And your defense back four are all from top defenses who all have something to play for. So
I'm tempted by going for Vardy for Marmoush. I have a little bit of that temptation because that frees up some funds. One,
Hmm.
I get someone with certainty of some minutes this week. It's gonna play Ipswich at home, and it
Yeah.
frees up funds to get Saka in the last week for me.
I think that makes sense if you're okay with not if you don't need Vardy in the last week. Maybe you can play Murphy in 38.
Yeah. I don't probably wouldn't need Vardy in the last week. But again, like I think why it feels a little bit still unnecessary because it
Yeah.
again limits my flexibility in the last week.
Yeah, you can anyway make a enabling move in 38.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Let's take a look at the point projections now. I didn't put it up on the slide, but I'll pull it up. So for forwards, I'll read it out. I'm showing it here, but I don't think you can see it. Isak is the highest across the 2 weeks after all that I said about him. Then Wissa, Wood, Haaland, Cunha, and Watkins.
Cunha is interesting. It's not someone we spoke about too much in terms of getting. I think the thing with Cunha, he has Palace. If Palace rotate, that's a big positive for Cunha, and he has Brentford next at home. And Cunha is a quality player, so yeah, I can see it. Especially if there are concerns around Marmoush, similar price, maybe Cunha is a good alternative. If someone's looking for a price swap there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Cunha got subbed early, and there are so many rumors of him leaving. I don't know how much he's going to play. The AI team currently has Cunha, so it will be hoping he plays. Yeah, but all these players are projected quite similar to each other, like Wissa, Cunha, Watkins. Looks like the AI is kind of underrating Watkins, I feel. Maybe because he didn't play for a while in the middle, his X-Men's, according to it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Cool. Let's look at midfielders now. Yeah, of course the AI team loves Salah, so he's the highest. But after that it's Mbumo, and then Bowen, Luis Diaz. Palmer is not rated so highly by the AI team. For a long time it was, but I think his extended period of form sees it rating him, yeah, below. I mean, if you look at just this week, he's below Salah, Mbumo, Eze, which is a lot of players, and I'm thinking twice about my planned move.
I wouldn't be confident, honestly, but it's a high risk move. I don't think it's an obvious move. I would say that.
Yeah. So and then Eze it really likes still, and then Saka, De Bruyne, and Murphy. Yeah, I think a fair few good options in midfield compared to forwards.
I like Saka more than Palmer. If I had to choose one, just because Saka, one, he could do it's a home fixture against Newcastle. Arsenal are just generally a better team, and he has Southampton in the next fixture.
I mean, I can just do Palmer to Saka in 38. That would be the
if you're like a little bit short on transfers and looking at 37, 38, if I can only get one, then I would choose Saka.
Okay.
Between
makes sense. Yeah, Palmer has Forest away, and I think Chelsea will be through by then, Champions League. Okay, moving on to defenders. Timber is first, Munoz second. Yeah, Timber's numbers are heavily because of game week 38. This week he's just projected to score 2.8. Munoz, I think it really likes, but we don't know how much he'll play, so I wouldn't go there. And then Chalobah is third. So here I think it likes Chelsea.
Interesting.
And Guardiola is fourth, Tarkowski, Cucurella, Kiwior, Saliba, Kirkes, and Ben White. So a lot of Arsenal and Chelsea, and the odd City and Palace. But any transfers I think for defenders doesn't necessarily make sense.
No, yeah, not this week at least.
Yeah, and then keepers finally. I think it says something. The number one keeper is Ipswich's Muric.
Interesting.
And then second,
I think that's where we stop talking about this slide.
But I do want to see where Chelsea is projected. Fourth, Sanchez is fourth highest. But for this week, I think it's Sells is higher, second highest. So Muric first, Sells second for this week, then Edison, and then Martinez. I mean, all these projections make sense, but I don't think anyone will really be making a keeper transfer at this
Yeah,
phase.
yeah.
Yeah.
Strongly advise against that.
Cool. Yeah, I think currently goals maybe for AI team top 1K is out of reach. For me, top 100K is looking a bit tough with just 2 weeks to go. Maybe if I got Sharda or something last week, I could have got closer. I'm 146K. I think I'm still 20 points behind, which maybe I should use assistant manager instead of farmer.
Go
Famous.
for it. Just go for the assistant manager and captain someone else. Like
Yeah.
captain, captaincy, you still have other great options like in your team. You have, you can just go with Embo. You can go with Salah. Like I just
Yeah.
go with Salah.
Yeah,
You
it,
have better
it
options.
it is something I'm considering, especially because, but I also think Palmer captaincy, even with one goal, he could get those 20 points. But yeah, it is a toss up. I'm definitely tempted by the assistant manager. It's basically heart versus cold numbers. Um, and for you, I think goal will be 1 million and 25th. I think you can get better than 25th from here.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm happy. I mean,
Yeah,
25 seemed really really difficult some
yeah,
time back. It became a joke
yeah.
almost thinking of 25th, which is pretty sad. But exceeding that will definitely end the season on a Swedish note. So hopefully the last 2 weeks kind of turn green.
Yeah, and I hope you finish in the top 1 million as well. I think that is very much within reach, 1.1. So, two green arrows of any sort, I think you should be there. Cool. That brings us to the end of this episode. Any last words?
Best of luck as always, and we'll see you next time for the last podcast or last game week podcast of the season.